Well, let us, mindful of that, let's bring in our next guest. Joining us now from Philadelphia, the author of Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation, Dick Morris. Dick, I know that you think in terms of foreign policy there has already been a consequence to the big GOP landslide, but on immigration, are Republicans just ignoring the outcome of the election?
No, I don't think they are. I think it's unfair to say that. I think that the Republicans are confronted with the power grab, like I wrote in my book and predicted, the illegal, unconstitutional executive order issued by the president. And when a president acts that way, and you only control one house of Congress, and it'll take several years for it to get before the Supreme Court, you're limited in what you can do. And rather than try to force a round peg into a square hole and address this within the context of the next 2 or 3 weeks when we only have one house of Congress, I think the important thing to do is to make sure that we don't permanently fund the ICE, that we hold it over until we have a majority in both houses and then can deal with it, and that we pass the rest of the continuing resolution. This continuing resolution is a vital step in our strategy. What Obama has always tried to do is when we try to defund one part of his budget, in this last case Obamacare, in this case is immigration stuff, he puts the entire government at stake and closes the whole thing down. What this does is it says the whole thing is open except for this one part, and that part we could close down in the future. Republicans, for example, have always wanted to continue to pay Social Security or military pay, even if there were a government shutdown. But Obama always says, no, either you do the whole thing or you do nothing. And it's his way of forcing Congress not to have the line item veto that he does not have as president. Well, but by carving out ICE and funding the entire rest of the government, the Republicans are doing a very smart thing right now, the best they could possibly do.
Immigration, customs, and enforcement. But here is the concern from a lot of conservatives, Dick. The plan that Boehner has put forth is to fund the government clear on through to September, not to have the new majority in the Senate and the House, the larger majority, step in early once they're sworn in.
That's not my understanding, J.D. I think that what he wants to do is to fund the entire government through September, except for ICE. And ICE he's going to fund until like February or March. And when February or March come, the entire rest of the government is not at stake. It'll stay open. The question then is ICE. And that's just what the Republicans have always wanted to do. Focus their fire on the one program they want to shut and not stop everybody from getting passports and going to jail and, you know, running drug programs, the whole thing. And the Democrats have always denied the Republicans that weapon. So they can't shoot a single bullet. They have to do a scatter shot. Now Boehner's proposal will eliminate that.
And do you agree with that proposal?
Oh, I love it. I think it's great. I think it's brilliant is what I think. Because it really means that you can now use the cutoff of government money as a surgical instrument, not as a blunt hammer.
But Dick, here's the thing, and good friends can disagree. Here's the problem. Speaker Boehner, Chairman Rogers say that because immigration is run by fees, they are powerless to stop that. Senator Sessions says, wait a minute, you can put language in a spending bill to stop them from just, even if they're doing it by fees, Congress still directs that spending. Don't mean to get down the weeds, but it's an important distinction here.
No, I think, first of all, I don't really believe what Rogers said. I think certain of the functions are paid by fees, but I think, in fact, there's much broader use of tax money involved. And I agree completely with Sessions, and there is nothing to stop that from happening. What the government can do, what the Republicans could do in February or March, is say, okay, the whole government's open now. We're just going to deny ICE any funding at all, and we're going to prohibit them from these fees. Obama will then veto that, and we'll say, okay, you don't have an ICE, it's closed.
All right, well, let's see what happens. I'll tell you what,
he'll have to give in.
And we're going to bring you right back to talk more. Dick Morris, the author of Power Grab, will stay with us. You stay with us, too, here on America's Forum.